Ethan sat alone in his small apartment, staring at the glowing message on his holoscreen. The name Xylar flashing repeatedly, a mixture of disbelief and curiosity filling his chest. He had not seen his alien friend Xylar in years, but the sudden news that Xylar had passed away shocked him deeply. Memories of their adventures, strange missions, and laughter came rushing back, yet nothing prepared him for what came next. The message was simple yet confusing. An official alien hologram from Xylar's family council, declaring that Ethan was required to come to the capital of Xylar's home planet immediately. The words made his heart race. Your presence is requested regarding the inheritance of Xylar's estate. It sounded normal at first, but the alien legal system was far from simple, and Ethan knew that nothing about this would be easy. Within hours, Ethan found himself on a sleek transport ship. Crossing the galaxy, the stars outside his window seemed brighter than ever, but a strange unease settled over him. He was traveling to meet someone he had barely known, yet whose death now demanded he make a decision that would change his life forever. The journey was silent, filled with anxious thoughts and the hum of the ship's engines. When the ship landed, Ethan was met by a group of tall, graceful aliens. Their skin shimmering with soft colors, their eyes deep and mysterious, the leader stepped forward, a female named Leora, Xylar's widow, and the sight of her took Ethan's breath away. She was young, beautiful, and regal, yet her eyes carried a sadness that made him hesitate. The moment felt strange, almost like time had slowed. You are Ethan? I presume. Leora's voice was calm but carried authority. Your presence is required to fulfill Xylar's last wish. Ethan nodded, trying to hide his nervousness, yet the words made his stomach twist. He had never imagined standing before Xylar's widow in such circumstances, let alone being asked to claim anything at all. The council guided him to a large hall, the walls adorned with alien symbols and glowing crystals. At the center lay a holographic projection of Xylar himself, his image flickering as if he were speaking from beyond. Ethan, the hologram said, his voice gentle yet commanding. To inherit my estate, you must marry Leora, my widow. Only then can the fortune be legally claimed. The rules of our society are strict, but I trust you understand. Ethan froze. The word struck him like lightning. Marry Xylar's widow. The idea seemed impossible, absurd, yet the hologram's instructions were clear. The fortune was vast, enough to change his life forever. But at what cost? Ethan felt the weight of the decision pressing down on him. Every instinct screamed caution, yet curiosity and duty pulled him forward. Leora's eyes met his, a mixture of shock and quiet judgment. And he sensed that she had heard the same message from her family. Do you understand the terms? Leora asked softly, her fingers tracing the edge of a glowing tablet, her gaze intense. Ethan swallowed hard, trying to steady his voice. I think so, he said, unsure if he truly understood. The hall was silent except for the hum of alien energy, and Ethan realized that this was more than a marriage. It was a test, a challenge, a puzzle designed by Xylar to measure courage and loyalty. As the council watched silently, Ethan noticed small details that sent shivers down his spine. Shadows moved where they shouldn't. Faint whispers echoed through the hall, and strange patterns formed in the crystals around him. It felt as if the room itself was alive, watching, judging, ready to reveal secrets or punish mistakes. His heartbeat quickened. The suspense was unbearable, and he knew there was no turning back. Leora stepped closer, her presence both intimidating and comforting. This is not just about fortune. Ethan, she said quietly, almost as if speaking to herself. Xylar left more than wealth. He left secrets, challenges, and dangers. Ethan's eyes widened. He had expected wealth, but danger? The thought made him nervous, yet strangely excited. The unknown always carried risk, and humans thrived on challenge. The council finally spoke, their voices blending into a harmonious chant. Ethan, your decision must be made tonight. Accept and the journey begins. Refuse and Xylar's fortune will pass to others. The weight of their words hung in the air. Ethan looked at Leora again, her eyes searching his, trying to see his intentions, and he realized that this moment would define him, not just as a friend but as a human facing alien customs. Love, duty, and fortune all at once. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the tension squeeze his chest. The hall seemed to pulse with energy. The shadows danced around them, and he knew that whatever decision he made, his life would never be the same again. With one last glance at Leora, he stepped forward, ready to embrace the challenge. unaware that unseen eyes were watching, waiting for the first move, and that Xylar's fortune was far more than it seemed. The first step toward an alien marriage, a fortune, and secrets beyond imagination had begun. The galaxy outside seemed silent yet full of whispers. The suspense hung thick in the air, and Ethan's adventure, his true test, was about to unfold. Ethan could hardly sleep that night. The alien moon casting soft blue light through the tall windows of the guest chamber. Every shadow seemed to move on its own, twisting and stretching as if alive. He kept thinking about Leora, her eyes, her voice, and the strange weight of the responsibility laid upon him. To marry her not for love but to claim Xylar's fortune. Yet even that practical thought could not calm the storm of unease in his mind. At dawn the council returned, their presence commanding and quiet. They led Ethan and Leora into the ritual hall, a vast chamber carved from crystal and metal, the walls pulsing with alien symbols that seemed to shift as they walked past. Ethan's heart pounded, every step echoed like thunder, and he felt as though unseen forces were testing him, watching his every move. "The ritual must be followed exactly," said Leora softly, her tone calm but firm. Any mistake could fail the process, or worse. Ethan nodded, swallowing nervously, the weight of her words pressing against him. He had trained for missions and danger on Earth, but this was different, strange and frightening in ways he could not explain. The first step of the ritual was a walk of judgment, a slow path through the hall where crystal statues of Xylar's ancestors observed them with glowing eyes. Ethan noticed that some of the statues seemed almost alive, their faces shifting as if judging him. He clenched his fists, feeling human bravery rise, and took the first careful step forward. Leora beside him, silent but steady, her hand brushing his, sending a strange warmth through his chest. They reached the circle of vows, a floating ring of light suspended above the floor, symbols floating around it like fireflies. Leora turned to Ethan, her expression unreadable. "You must speak your intentions aloud. Honesty is required." Ethan nodded, his throat dry, yet he forced his voice strong. I accept the ritual, and I will honor the terms set by Xylar and your family." The light around the circle pulsed, brighter, as if acknowledging his words. Next came the trial of elements, a test of courage and control. A small sphere of shimmering energy appeared before each of them. Ethan's sphere hovered, humming softly. Reacting to his heartbeat, he realized that it mirrored his emotions. Every fear or doubt would make it unstable, and failure could end the ritual. He took a deep breath, focusing on calm and determination. The sphere steadied, glowing steadily in response. Leora's sphere shimmered as well, moving in sync with her heartbeat. And for a moment their energies seemed to touch, a spark of connection bridging human and alien. As they moved through the hall, enigmatic guardians appeared, semi-transparent figures of alien form, their eyes like glowing stars. They tested Ethan with questions, riddles, and challenges, asking him about loyalty, courage, and judgment. Ethan relied on instinct and common sense, sometimes guessing, sometimes trusting his human intuition. Each correct answer allowed them to pass. Each mistake brought a pulse of energy that made him flinch, keeping him tense and alert. Midway through the ritual, a strange vision appeared, a holographic projection of Xylar smiling, almost mischievous. "Ethan, this is more than ceremony. Learn Leora, understand her. Only then can the fortune be yours," the words echoed in the chamber. Ethan turned to Leora and noticed a faint smile, a flicker of recognition, as if Xylar's memory was guiding them both. The moment was brief, yet it filled him with determination. He realized the ritual was not just about wealth. It was about trust, courage, and connection. The final stage was the binding of paths, a test of teamwork. Ethan and Leora had to stand on floating platforms, arms extended, connecting their life energies through the hovering crystal circle. The chamber shivered as their combined energies flowed into the ring. Lights danced, symbols glowed brighter. Ethan felt his fears melt. Replaced by a strange exhilaration, Leora's eyes met his, and for the first time he saw a hint of warmth, trust, maybe even respect. He could not name the emotion yet, but it strengthened his resolve. Suddenly a shadow moved along the wall. Darker than the others, the guardian shifted, alert, and Ethan felt a chill. Danger was near, someone or something was watching. Waiting for a mistake, he tightened his focus, feeling human courage rise again. He would not fail now, not with Leora depending on him and the fortune within reach. The ritual demanded bravery, yes, but it also demanded heart. and Ethan knew he had to give both. As the ritual ended, the chamber hummed with energy, symbols fading into calm light. The guardians bowed and disappeared. The floating circle lowered slowly to the ground, and the council spoke in harmonious tones. You have passed the first trial. Your union is acknowledged, yet challenges remain. The path to Xylar's fortune is not complete, Ethan exhaled. Relief and anticipation mingling, he looked at Leora, whose expression was softer now, a faint smile playing on her lips, and he realized that their adventure, full of suspense, danger, and discovery, was just beginning. Ethan stepped forward, feeling the weight of what had passed and the promise of what lay ahead. Leora's hand brushed his again, warmer this time, as if acknowledging not just the ritual but a shared journey. And though fear and uncertainty lingered, excitement and curiosity bloomed stronger. The alien world outside the hall seemed alive, watching, waiting, as Ethan and Leora prepared to face the next stage of their challenge. After the ritual, Ethan felt a strange mixture of relief and unease. The chamber's energy had faded, but the weight of responsibility still pressed heavily on him. Leora walked beside him, her steps calm, confident, yet there was a glimmer of curiosity in her eyes. She no longer seemed like a distant widow, but someone who could be a partner, a guide, and perhaps a friend. The council led them to a private room filled with glowing panels and holographic displays. Symbols and numbers floated in the air, shifting like stars in a galaxy. Ethan's eyes widened. The scale of Xylar's fortune was far beyond what he had imagined. It was not just wealth or credits, it was knowledge, technology, and secrets that could change lives, planets, maybe even civilizations. Leora gestured to a holographic map that displayed Xylar's holdings across the galaxy. Ethan could see faint energy patterns indicating hidden vaults, protected zones, and strange alien constructs. She spoke. Xylar left more than currency. He left puzzles, traps, and guardians. Only the worthy can claim what he built. Ethan listened carefully, realizing that the fortune was not just a prize, it was a challenge, one that tested intelligence, courage, and trust. They began their exploration with the Vault of Codes, a chamber that required them to decode ancient alien symbols. Ethan's human logic clashed with the alien symbols, yet Leora's instincts guided him. She pointed out subtle patterns he would have never noticed. The teamwork felt natural, though neither had expected it, and for the first time, Ethan felt a spark of admiration for her beyond her beauty or role as Xylar's widow. While deciphering the codes, a holographic projection of Xylar appeared unexpectedly. His voice calm but playful. Ethan, remember, the fortune is more than material. It is trust, courage, and understanding. Fail to see the meaning, and it will remain locked forever. The message sent shivers down Ethan's spine. It reminded him that every step he took had consequences, and that Xylar had prepared these trials not for cruelty, but for wisdom. Suddenly the room flickered, alarms chimed softly, and a guardian drone emerged, its metallic form sleek, with glowing sensors scanning them. Ethan's heart raced. Leora acted quickly, guiding him to move in sync, mimicking her movements, and the drone seemed to hesitate, as if acknowledging their cooperation. They passed the first challenge, but Ethan realized the danger was constant, and that Xylar's fortune would never be easy. As they moved deeper, Ethan discovered a holographic journal left by Xylar, detailing secret alliances, lost technologies, and alien artifacts of immense power. Some could heal planets, others could generate energy beyond imagination, yet some were dangerous if misused. Ethan felt a mix of awe and fear. The weight of responsibility grew heavier with every secret uncovered. Leora noticed his hesitation, placing a hand on his shoulder. You must decide. Ethan, greed is easy, wisdom is hard. The fortune rewards those who respect it. Her voice was steady, almost like a teacher, but her eyes held a challenge, a test not of skill, but of character. Ethan nodded, realizing that this was more than a quest for wealth. It was a journey to prove his humanity in a galaxy that tested every virtue. The next trial was the Chamber of Shadows, a place where illusions played tricks on the mind. Ethan saw visions of failure, of losing Leora, of enemies taking the fortune, yet he pushed forward, remembering her guidance and Xylar's words. Leora's calm presence anchored him, and together they navigated the illusions. The chamber itself seemed to acknowledge their unity, the symbols of the walls glowing brighter as they advanced. As the chamber cleared, they reached the heart of the fortune, a glowing crystal orb suspended above a pedestal. Energy radiated from it, humming with power and mystery. Ethan could feel it pulling at his thoughts, tempting him with visions of glory. Yet he also sensed the responsibility it carried. Leora whispered, "This is it. The secrets will open only to those who are worthy." Ethan extended a hand, feeling the pulse of energy, and understood that this moment was a test of morality, courage, and empathy, not just skill. Before he could touch the orb, a faint shadow flickered at the edge of the room. Someone was observing them, perhaps a rival or spy. Ethan tensed. The sense of suspense grew, and he realized that Xylar's fortune was not only hidden behind puzzles, but also behind dangerous enemies waiting for mistakes. Any wrong move could cost them everything. Ethan glanced at Leora. Her expression calm but alert, she nodded slightly, signaling trust and partnership. Together they stepped forward not just as a human and a widow, but as a team ready to face challenges. The orb's energy pulsed brighter, almost recognizing their unity. The fortune was not simply a prize, it was a reward for courage, intelligence, and the bond that was slowly forming between them. The chamber fell silent, the energy of the orb steadying, and Ethan felt a new understanding. Xylar had designed these trials to prepare them for more than wealth. It was about growth, trust, and readiness for responsibility. Leora's presence was not an obstacle, but a guide, a partner, and perhaps a protector of the very legacy they sought. As they left the heart of the fortune, Ethan felt excitement, fear, and anticipation all at once. The galaxy outside shimmered in distant stars, but the greatest adventure was inside, in understanding the secrets, dangers, and mysteries Xylar had left behind. The path to fortune was only beginning, and the true test of courage, wisdom, and humanity had yet to unfold. After leaving the heart of the fortune, Ethan and Leora returned to the quiet corridors of Xylar's estate, the glow from the crystals casting long shadows across the walls. Each step echoed softly, yet every corner seemed alive, as if the building itself was watching, analyzing, and waiting for a misstep. Ethan felt a strange mixture of pride and anxiety. They had passed the first major trials, yet the real challenges were only beginning. Leora walked beside him, her gaze distant but sharp. She seemed to understand the estate better than Ethan, pointing out subtle patterns in the walls, faint energy traces, and small runes that humans could never interpret without guidance. Ethan realized how much he relied on her instincts, and a strange warmth grew in his chest, a sense that perhaps, despite the strange circumstances, he was not alone in this journey. Their moment of calm was broken by a sudden alarm, a low, vibrating hum that shook the floor beneath their feet. Red lights flashed along the walls, and a voice echoed through the corridors. Deep, distorted alien announcing, "Unauthorized access detected. Protect the estate." Ethan's pulse quickened. He glanced at Leora, who nodded, signaling readiness. They had passed trials of courage and wisdom, but this was different. Danger was real, immediate, and possibly deadly. They moved quickly through winding halls, discovering a group of masked intruders moving silently, their alien suits reflecting the dim light. Ethan's heart raced. He could feel the tension building. The intruders were searching for the heart of the fortune, and if they succeeded, all of Xylar's secrets would be lost. Leora whispered, "Stay close. Follow my lead." And together they hid in the shadows, watching, waiting for the right moment. Ethan noticed that the intruders were not ordinary thieves. They carried strange devices, pulsing with alien energy, scanning for disturbances. Each step they took seemed precise, calculated, and dangerous. He realized that the estate's fortune was a prize not only of wealth, but of power, and enemies would do anything to claim it. His mind raced with plans, but he knew brute force would fail. They needed cunning and teamwork. Leora guided Ethan through a secret passage, walls lined with shimmering conduits of energy. They moved silently, hearts pounding, the intruders' footsteps echoing faintly behind them. Ethan felt a thrill unlike any he had known on Earth. This was real adventure, real danger, and he had to rely on his instincts and human courage. Every decision mattered. Every misstep could be catastrophic. As they reached a safe chamber, Leora activated a holographic interface, showing them hidden routes, security patterns, and possible escape points. She studied the data with focused intensity. Ethan watched, amazed at her skill. For the first time he saw Leora not just as a widow or guide, but as a formidable ally, someone who could challenge and inspire him, and he felt a growing bond, subtle but undeniable, between them. Suddenly the hologram flickered, and a shadow appeared on the display. An intruder had bypassed the outer defenses and was moving toward them. Ethan's pulse quickened. They had little time. He realized that survival depended on quick thinking, courage, and trust, Leora whispered. We must lure them into the labyrinth of echoes, a dangerous series of corridors designed to confuse intruders and amplify their fears. Ethan nodded, understanding that the estate itself was a tool, a challenge and a weapon. They ran through the twisting halls, the intruder following, shadows stretching unnaturally, strange sounds echoing, creating a sense of disorientation. Ethan's mind raced, calculating steps and moves, while Leora anticipated the intruder's actions, guiding him through invisible traps and hidden paths. The teamwork felt instinctive, and he realized that together, they were stronger than they could ever be alone. As they finally trapped the intruder in a chamber of illusions, Ethan caught his breath. Adrenaline surging, Leora smiled faintly, a mixture of relief and quiet pride. "You are learning quickly," she said, and for a moment, her voice carried warmth and admiration. Ethan felt a surge of connection, the tension of danger blending with a subtle, growing respect and trust. He knew that this bond would be essential for the challenges ahead. But even as they celebrated this small victory, Ethan sensed a new layer of threat. Shadows moved where no intruders should be, and the faint hum of energy suggested more eyes were watching, waiting for them to slip. The estate was alive with secrets, puzzles, and enemies, and he understood that passing the rituals was only the beginning. Now the true test of courage, intelligence, and teamwork had begun. Ethan looked at Leora, her expression calm yet alert, and he realized that the fortune, the danger, and the adventure were not just external. They were teaching them, shaping them, forcing them to grow, to adapt, and perhaps to trust each other in ways neither had expected. The galaxy outside was quiet, but the estate's heart pulsed with suspense, and Ethan knew that the path ahead would test every skill, every virtue, and every ounce of human courage. Together they prepared to move forward side by side, ready to face whatever challenges, betrayals, or mysteries Xylar had left behind. The bond between them strengthening, the suspense thickening, and the adventure growing ever more dangerous and exhilarating. The real journey had just begun. Ethan and Leora thought they had survived the first wave of threats. Yet a strange tension lingered in the air. The estate felt quieter, almost too quiet. Shadows stretched in odd angles, and Ethan could not shake the feeling that someone, or something, was watching them. He glanced at Leora, her expression unreadable, and realized that even trust could be a weapon in a place like this. They returned to the chamber where Xylar's journals and holograms were stored, hoping to find new clues to unlock the next part of the fortune. Ethan carefully reviewed symbols and alien writings, while Leora examined security patterns and energy signatures, each working in tandem. Yet Ethan could not ignore the subtle unease creeping up his spine. Small inconsistencies in the holograms, faint flickers of light, and distant echoes that did not belong. Without warning, a holographic alert flashed, red symbols filling the room, accompanied by a distorted voice. "Security breach. Unauthorized access detected." Ethan froze, glancing around, yet no intruders appeared. Leora's eyes narrowed. She whispered, "This is no ordinary attack. Someone inside is working against us. Betrayal." A cold and sharp thought sliced through Ethan's mind. He had not expected enemies within, and the realization made every step forward more dangerous. They followed the security logs and discovered faint traces of manipulation, subtle changes in Xylar's data, hidden messages that could only be understood by someone familiar with the estate's inner workings. Ethan's heart sank. The evidence pointed to someone close to Xylar, someone trusted, who had been secretly trying to claim the fortune for themselves. The idea made him furious, yet he had to remain calm. The stakes were too high for rash decisions. Leora's expression darkened. "I feared this might happen," she said quietly, her voice steady but tinged with anger. "Xylar's fortune attracts more than courage and intelligence. It draws greed and envy, even among those he trusted most." Ethan felt a shiver, realizing that even allies could be dangerous, that the path to fortune was not just physical or mental, it was also emotional and moral, testing loyalty, trust, and judgment. As they worked together to identify the betrayer, the estate seemed to respond, symbols shifting on the walls, hidden doors opening to reveal new passages almost guiding them. Ethan followed Leora's lead, each step careful, aware that a single misstep could alert the betrayer, or worse, trigger a trap. The suspense tightened around them. Every shadow, every flicker of light, every faint whisper felt like a threat. Suddenly one of Xylar's old aides appeared, an alien named Varen. His appearance casual but his eyes cold, calculating, and Ethan felt a surge of suspicion. Leora stepped forward, her voice firm. "Varen, the estate knows what you've done. Baron's expression flickered, a hint of guilt quickly masked by arrogance. "I am only ensuring the fortune is preserved," he said, yet the tone lacked truth, and Ethan could see the betrayal in the way he avoided their gaze. Baron attempted to access the heart of the fortune remotely. Triggering alarms and activating defense mechanisms, walls shifted, energy fields rose, and the chamber became a maze of moving hazards. Ethan and Leora moved quickly, relying on instinct and each other, dodging blasts of energy, leaping across shifting platforms and narrowly avoiding traps designed to stop intruders. Each moment tested their courage, skill, and trust. In the chaos, Ethan realized that the betrayal was not just about wealth, it was a test of character. Xylar had designed this final challenge for his fortune, to ensure only those who acted with courage, loyalty, and intelligence could succeed. Ethan and Leora synchronized perfectly, covering each other's mistakes, guiding each other through the maze, their partnership growing stronger with every second of danger. Finally, they confronted Varen in a chamber where the floor shimmered with alien energy. He attempted one last strike, but Leora intercepted, using a device from Xylar's estate to disable his weapons. Ethan stepped forward, choosing not to destroy but to outsmart, using the estate's systems to trap Varen safely while maintaining control of the fortune. The betrayal was exposed, but justice was measured. Not cruel. Breathing heavily, Ethan turned to Leora, admiration and respect shining in his eyes. "We did it together," he said, and for the first time, he felt that their partnership was not just about fortune or ritual, but about trust, teamwork, and shared courage. Leora nodded, a faint smile breaking through her usual calm. "This is Xylar's final lesson. The fortune is more than wealth. It is a test of humanity and integrity." Even as the immediate danger passed, Ethan could sense more challenges ahead. The estate seemed to hum with anticipation. Shadows still lurked in hidden corridors, and the galaxy outside remained unpredictable. Yet the bond between him and Leora had grown, forged in danger, betrayal, and shared triumph, and he knew that together, they could face whatever came next. As they left the chamber, Ethan felt a renewed determination. The hidden betrayal had tested them, but it had also strengthened them. The path to Xylar's fortune was still long, the mysteries deep and the suspense ever present. Yet he understood that courage, trust, and human ingenuity could overcome even the most devious schemes, and the adventure was far from over. The betrayal had shaken Ethan, yet it had also strengthened his resolve. The corridors of Xylar's estate seemed quieter now, but Ethan knew calm was temporary. The estate itself was alive with energy, and he could sense that the final challenge was approaching. Leora walked beside him, her expression steady, but Ethan could see determination shining in her eyes. They were ready together for whatever awaited. The council's voice echoed through the main hall, calm and resonant. "Ethan, Leora, the ultimate trial begins only by courage, wisdom, and unity will Xylar's fortune be unlocked fully." A deep hum vibrated through the floor, and suddenly the walls shifted, forming a circular arena lined with glowing alien symbols, the air thick with energy, anticipation, and danger. Ethan's heart raced. This was no ordinary test. It was the final stage, designed to push them beyond every limit. Before them appeared 3 paths, each shimmering with light and mystery. The council's instructions were clear. Choose wisely. One path tests courage, another tests intellect, the last tests heart. Ethan glanced at Leora, her gaze calm but encouraging. "We must work together. Trust your instincts," she whispered, and he nodded, knowing that their unity would determine success. The suspense was almost unbearable, each path radiating an aura of unknown challenges. They chose the path of courage first, a corridor filled with shifting platforms over a seemingly endless void. Strange creatures made of light and energy appeared, attacking relentlessly. Ethan's reflexes and human ingenuity were tested as he dodged and blocked, while Leora's alien agility and precise movements complemented his efforts. Together they moved seamlessly, guiding each other, their bond growing with every leap. Every near miss. The challenge was brutal, yet exhilarating. Emerging from the corridor, they entered the path of intellect, a chamber filled with floating puzzles, symbols, and alien projections. Ethan's mind raced as he tried to decipher patterns, while Leora used instinct and knowledge of alien culture to interpret subtle hints. Each puzzle required cooperation. One mistake would reset the chamber, and failure was not an option. The pressure was immense. Yet Ethan felt a thrill in combining human logic with Leora's intuition. their teamwork proving more powerful than either could manage alone. Finally, they faced the path of heart, a quiet chamber with a single glowing orb suspended in the center. It pulsed softly, almost breathing. Ethan could sense visions appearing within it, memories of loss, fear, and loneliness intertwined with hope, courage, and empathy. He realized the trial was psychological, testing their integrity. Compassion and trust, Leora stepped forward. Placing her hand near his, "We face it together," she said, and together, they allowed the orb to connect with their emotions, their hearts, their fears, and their courage. Suddenly, the chamber trembled, shadows flickered, and the voice of Xylar echoed calm but commanding. "Ethan, Leora, only those who act with honesty, courage, and respect for life may claim the fortune. Any greed or deceit will doom the prize." Ethan felt a weight pressing on his chest. The test was not just survival or skill, it was moral and emotional. He realized that the greatest challenge was not fighting traps or enemies, but proving their humanity in a universe that demanded integrity. A final vision appeared, showing potential futures, some bright and full of achievement, others dark and empty. Ethan grasped Leora's hand, anchoring himself. He realized that their choices, teamwork, and trust would shape not just their fate, but the legacy of Xylar's fortune. Every decision mattered. The suspense reached its peak, the chamber humming with energy, testing their combined resolve to the fullest. Ethan and Leora stepped together toward the orb, focusing not on greed but on unity, courage, and respect. The light pulsed brighter, engulfing them in warmth and clarity. They could feel the estate responding, the trials acknowledging their worthiness. The shadows faded, and for the first time, the hum of energy became harmonious, almost celebratory. The ultimate test was ending, and they had passed, breathing heavily. Ethan looked at Leora, admiration and trust filling him. "We did it," he said, and for the first time, their partnership felt equal, balanced, unshakable. Leora smiled, soft and genuine. Xylar wanted more than guardianship. He wanted proof that his fortune would be in hands of courage, wisdom, and heart. Ethan nodded, realizing that the journey had changed him, not just tested him. The suspense and danger had shaped a new understanding of responsibility, humanity, and trust. As they left the arena, the estate's energy shifted to calm, walls glowing softly, symbols of Xylar's legacy illuminating the corridors. Ethan felt pride, relief, and anticipation, yet he knew the final revelation of the fortune awaited. There were still secrets to unlock, but now he and Leora were ready. Bonded by trials, danger, and shared courage, the ultimate test had proven them worthy, and the climax of Xylar's legacy was almost within reach. Ethan and Leora emerged from the ultimate trial, their bodies tired, hearts racing, yet a sense of triumph and anticipation filled the air. The estate's energy had shifted from tense and dangerous to calm and welcoming. Walls glowed softly with the light of Xylar's legacy, and for the first time, Ethan could see the beauty and purpose behind everything Xylar had created. They approached the heart of the fortune once more, the glowing crystal orb hovering above the pedestal, pulsing gently with energy. It was as if it recognized them, acknowledging their courage, wisdom, and heart. Leora stepped beside Ethan, her hand brushing his, warmth spreading through him. He realized that the fortune was not just a prize, but a journey that had shaped their partnership and trust. The orb expanded its glow, projecting a holographic interface filled with symbols, alien writings, and maps. Ethan studied them with focus, while Leora interpreted the alien logic. Together they unlocked secrets hidden for decades, revealing Xylar's fortune in its full glory. Advanced technology, knowledge, and artifacts capable of transforming worlds. The magnitude was breathtaking, yet it was not overwhelming, because they understood the responsibility that came with it. As the holographic map settled, a voice echoed, calm and familiar, Xylar's hologram smiling gently. "Ethan, Leora, you have proven yourselves worthy, not by desire for wealth, but by courage, intelligence, and heart. The fortune is yours to steward, wisely and justly." Ethan felt a lump in his throat. Xylar's guidance, even in absence, had led them to this moment, and he realized that true reward was not just the fortune, but the journey, the trials, and the bond formed. Leora turned to him, eyes softening. "Ethan, the estate and Xylar's legacy are not just treasures. They are proof that courage, trust, and compassion can shape the future." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight and honor of the responsibility, yet also a sense of pride. They had faced betrayal, danger, and impossible trials, and emerged stronger together, a human and an alien. bonded by shared experience and mutual respect. Suddenly, the estate shimmered, walls revealing hidden chambers and secret devices. Energy flowing into the heart of the fortune. Ethan realized that the wealth and knowledge were not static. They were living, dynamic, waiting for stewards who would act with wisdom and humanity. He glanced at Leora, her expression glowing with pride and trust, and for the first time, he felt a deep connection, beyond duty, beyond trial, perhaps even beyond what he had expected from life itself. As they explored the newly revealed chambers, they discovered messages from Xylar, personal reflections and advice for the future, hints of peace, responsibility, and hope interwoven with instructions for stewardship. Ethan understood that Xylar had intended the fortune to test and guide, not just reward. The sense of purpose filled him with awe, and he realized that this journey had changed him more than any adventure or challenge on Earth could. Later, in a quiet hall, Ethan and Leora paused, the soft glow of alien crystals illuminating their faces. Ethan looked into her eyes. "Leora, we faced danger, betrayal, and impossible tests together, and I've learned to trust you, respect you, and care for you." Leora smiled faintly, warmth in her gaze. "Ethan, I felt the same. The trials have shown me your courage, heart, and humanity, not just as a human, but as a partner." The moment was quiet, profound, and filled with understanding, the seeds of trust and affection finally blossoming into something more. The estate seemed to acknowledge their union. Subtle vibrations, glowing symbols, and soft whispers of alien energy celebrating their success. Ethan realized that the fortune was not the end. It was a beginning, a foundation for adventure, partnership, and stewardship. The galaxy outside stretched endlessly, filled with possibilities, yet they now had the tools, knowledge, and courage to face it together. In the following days, Ethan and Leora activated Xylar's devices, unlocked technologies, and began planning how to use the fortune responsibly. Their bond deepened as they worked side by side, blending human creativity with alien knowledge, solving puzzles, exploring hidden realms, and preparing to protect the legacy they had earned. Suspense remained in distant threats, but their unity made them formidable, ready for anything the galaxy could throw at them. Finally, Ethan looked at Leora, hand in hand, heart steady, courage intact. "We've earned this together. Not just the fortune, but each other." She nodded, smiling genuinely. "Together we can face anything. Ethan, the future is ours to build." And in that moment, amidst the glow of Xylar's legacy, they felt a sense of accomplishment, hope, and the beginning of a new chapter. The journey that had begun with a mysterious will had led them to courage, trust, fortune, and an unexpected but profound love. The galaxy outside sparkled, silent yet full of promise, and Ethan knew that with Leora by his side, they could face every challenge, uncover every secret, and honor Xylar's fortune in a way that no one else could. The adventure had ended, yet truly it was only the beginning of something far greater.